Welcome to the Ask Faleskini podcast with a guest. I'm proud to present Cherita. Cherita, please tell us more about yourself. What is your story?
Well, first of all, absolute pleasure being here. I am from the beautiful tropical island of Barbados, where the sun is always shining and everyone is friendly. I would have gone to college in the US on a track and field scholarship, and then I would have done my master's degree in Puerto Rico. I'm currently an entrepreneur, inclusive of being a real estate agent and speaker, and more recently, an author. And I just try to live my life unapologetically. So whenever I meet people and they're trying to steer their life in a different direction, that's where I come in as a transformational speaker, helping to point them into the way they should go.
Amazing. You forgot to mention one thing that I believe our listeners still remember from 96.
Ah,
Can we go a bit back in your um, let's say sports days? Can you talk us through about you were
sure.
amazing. You're the top
Sure.
athlete,
Thank you.
and you
Thank
you
you.
you missed
Yes.
it out completely.
Yes, I was a national athlete for Barbados and had the privilege of representing my country at the Centennial Olympic Games in Atlanta, 1996. And what I experienced there has pretty much honed who I am today in terms of my operational system. Very quickly, I'll tell you about it. I would have qualified with a national record that was to stand almost 20 years. And that is what qualified me for the games. When I went, of course, I was super ecstatic. I was one of five track and field athletes representing Barbados. What persons don't realize is that shortly before the games, you do have a practice meet just so that you stay sharp. And so while I was in Atlanta, we had such a meet and it started to rain cats and dogs. They pretty much said, okay, as you were the last jumper, after you, we are shutting down the trap meet. Trap meets usually tend to stop when they see lightning. So it was coming up to that time. So because it was going to be my last jump before the games, I give it all I had. I went blazing down the runway. I could hardly see because it was raining that hard. And when I hit the board to take off, the board was wet. My leg slipped from under me and I tore my right leg in three places. And as I crumpled in the sand, you can imagine the horror of knowing, wait a minute, this is the highest point and lowest point of my life at the exact same time. I looked around and saw all of the stands clearing out and realized that the dream was over. Of course, going through that was traumatic because I then had to watch my own event on a small TV in the Olympic dorm. I did eventually recover. I know that after 2 days you run out of tears because that's all I did for the first 2 days, didn't eat a thing. And it took me some months to recover mentally because, as you can imagine, I was totally defeated after that. But guess what? You have to bounce back. No one is coming to save you, you know. So after I went through that experience, challenges that hit most people, they don't phase me in the same manner.
Mhm.
My mindset is the mindset of an athlete is different to begin with. And when you go through tragedy and you bounce back, you build a resilience that it takes a lot for someone to break you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing this. And I believe we should build on that. When we talk about midlife crisis, and you basically do similar stuff to what I'm doing to help people get out and just find a new purpose and just go on with their life. Can
Hmm.
we talk a bit about that? You're also a motivational speaker. Can you give us some insights? What triggers people or what stops people, and what do you tell them? How do you motivate them to find a new meaning in life and to start over? Because As we spoke briefly in our preparation for this podcast, you said it's never too late, and I agree wholeheartedly with you. Um, so,
Yes.
so what do you think is the most important message that we should convey to our listeners regarding starting over, and
Sure.
why our life is not over, even if we feel older or the best days are behind us and so on?
Yes. Very good question. Midlife crisis is called as such because people often feel that, oh, they're when they've reached their, whether it's 40s, 50s, early 60s, shucks, I haven't accomplished what I thought I would by this time. Some people are still floundering with what on earth was I put here to do, and feel as if they've missed the mark or fallen short. First of all, you have to acknowledge that the beauty of life is a journey. It is not a destination. Even acknowledging that helps to take some of the weight off of you mentally, because we liken success to so many things that the world likens it to. But at the end of the day, success is about, based on the skills and talents that were deposited in you by your creator, have you been able to achieve as much as that of that as possible? Not as much of what the world expects of you, no, as much of what you were put here to do, the plan and purpose for your life built on what is in you. So, firstly, recognize that it's not a destination. Secondly, do a self-assessment. Wait a minute. What are my um, skills, my talents, my gifts? What are my passions? You might be in banking all this time, but your passion is photography. Now might be the time to consider not necessarily making a hardcore shift, but if banking is giving you your operational money, that's great. Now put it into your passion. That's where your purpose resides. So a lot of the shifts sometimes are not these big monumental pivots that we have to do, but sometimes just realizing what is it that I desire to do and leaning towards that instead.
Amazing. I would like to go talk about another topic dear to me. Uh, you said skills and talents are not what others expect of us. And I talk about societal induced goals and family induced goals and all this so much. I would like to have your opinion on societal induced goals, and why are we so prone to them in the first, let's say, part of our life.
Yes. Listen, even from our earliest days in kindergarten, we want to be liked. True
Mhm.
or false? We
Yes.
want to be liked. We want to be accepted. That's just a human desire, as part of us wanting to be loved. We want to please people, and we want them to be, enamored by who we are. And because of that, societal pressure will always be there. Yes. Let us acknowledge it. But if you live only based on that societal pressure, you will be like a ship out there without a compass, just bobbing wherever the waves push you, right? In the midst of living in a society, who are you as an individual? Because if you don't tap into that individual compass, you will eventually be miserable. So I think it's important to, yes, acknowledge that society is a real thing. There are societal expectations that we naturally try to, live up to. We don't want to be criminal minded, for example. We don't want to be the outcast who is not liked by society. So societal pressure is good in that sense that it keeps us, for the most part, along a nice moral, ethical trajectory that society is happy with. But if you do not tap into the inner man, you can live a life of frustration, exasperation, desperation, because you never ever find that soul satisfaction.
Amazing. So, where should we start? We now feel
Mm,
stuck in a midlife. We we are. thinking about that might be a midlife crisis, or sometimes it's just I have a bit of a problem with my health, I have a bit of my problems with my relationships, and I have a bit of a problem with my business. And this all smells like midlife crisis. So how should we know that it's not just a business problem or a relationship problem? How should we know that this is a midlife crisis, that the time to make a shift or to change our life altogether has come?
Yes. Firstly, it is good for you to acknowledge that what is happening to you is not uncommon to man. You are not there out on an island by yourself, suffering silently. Um, you are one of many uh, dealing with the curveballs that are coming. Now, the reality is matters of health often are unpredictable, but once you do your best to try to repair you, that's all you can do. So that's the first aspect when it comes to health. When it comes to business, sometimes things can feel as if they're going totally out of whack. That's where you have to sit down and mentally start over by looking first at your why. Why did you start the business in the first place? Because remember, especially with things like businesses, you have a vision at the onset, but then you get so caught up in trying to grind out money that you veer from the vision. Go back to your original vision. What was it? Was it to spend time with family? Was it to make enough money to travel? Was it to serve the community who is purchasing your products and services? Why did you start the business in the first place? When you discover the why, rediscover the why, reconnect with that. That was where your joy was before things like balance sheets and taxes came and took your joy away from you. So I always recommend starting at the very beginning. What got you excited to wake up and attack your job or your business in the first place? And when you take the whys, then you're able to revisit the what you're doing now.
Mhm.
Is what you're doing bringing you closer to your family? Is being up at 8 o'clock every night on the job trying to make more money bringing you this family bond that you were hoping to do when you started the business in the first place, right? So rediscovering the why helps you retailer what you're doing, and only then can the trajectory to happiness and that self-actualization that you crave really restart.
Okay, let's talk a bit about relationships. You are an expert. You
Mhm.
wrote a book about that. Can we dive a bit into that?
Yes, well, I would say this. All of us are experts in some field of experience because nothing beats going through something experientially. You are more ready than anybody else to help other people navigate. So I'll start by saying I'm not a formal relationship expert, but before I am what you see today, which is married with two children. I was single for about 8 years. And every year somebody would say, Cherita, this is your year. And I would be like, yay. And then I would meet, two prospects that made me feel as if, trying for a relationship was hopeless. Nothing would work out. People were toxic or they weren't who you thought they were. Um, and the reason I wrote this book is that in my single season, and notice that I say the word season, wherever you are, don't ever think that it has to be permanent. It may just be a season, right? In my single season, I learned a lot about myself. Sometimes when we are looking at the shortcomings of others, we have to also say, you know what? What can I fix about me? And in so doing, you elevate who you bring to the table, a higher version of yourself, but also start learning to filter. I think the problem with a lot of individuals, we don't have any boundaries when it comes to giving people access to who we are. But if you elevate your value proposition and really start to get comfortable with who you are, your worth, then guess what? It's easier to set boundaries and put filters in place to protect who gets access to you. So that's essentially what my book was about, based on what I learned during that single journey of my life. I went from single to a family of 4 in 2 years, which shows which shows too that seasons can change very quickly. So it's good always to prepare yourself and be ready for it.
Amazing story. So, before we conclude, what do you think is the most important thing that our listeners should take from this interview?
Mm, I would say this: your life has value, tremendous value. You are literally a designer's original, handcrafted. There's no one else like you. And when you start looking at yourself as that, wow, I am unique. The world needs you in some form or fashion. It helps you to take your mind out of yourself, my problems, my worries, my struggles, and twist it into looking at, how can I serve you? How can I bring joy and fulfillment to someone else? When you operate out of that positioning, your life takes on a freshness. You get up excited to hit the ground running, because guess what? You being here on earth literally impacts someone else. And when you operate out of that space, you start to walk a truly purpose driven life where it's no more insular, it's no more selfish, it's no more me, but it's like, let me go out there and make a difference to the world. They need me. And that, I think, is what will bring you joy and start making the journey really elevated and exciting.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that. And Cherita, before we finish, please tell us where our listeners and our viewers can get in touch with you.
Sure. My social media handles, Instagram, Facebook, and even LinkedIn, are Cherita O'Dell Speaks, and Cherita is spelled Cherita Speaks, Cherita O'Dell Speaks. My website is the same thing, CheritaO'DellSpeaks.com. And of course, if you want to check out that book, if you're in your single season and want to go to another level, you can check out goodgodhelpmeout.com, and that will take you to where you can purchase the book, goodgodhelpmeout.com.
Okay, I will include the links in the description below. And Cherita, thank you very much. Thank you for all your insights.
Thank you so much. Absolute pleasure being here.